right.
Hey, hey.
Welcome to another Bad Men for Christ show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rupert Johnson. I got with me my good buddy all the way from Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, actually, it's Silver Spring, Maryland, but that's okay.
Ah,
Right outside of the
it's
Washington,
Maryland.
D.C. line.
It's
That's
Maryland.
okay. I'll give you that for a little bit.
Give me the little space. Silver
It's okay,
Springs,
yeah.
Maryland. Amen. Mark Brodus.
It's still Maryland. It's still Maryland.
Well, Mark Brodus, how are you doing, my friend, my buddy? How's everything going?
Oh, man, everything is great. I mean, just trying to understand this weather. I mean, one moment it's in the 60s and one moment it's in the 20s. Now, this week's supposed to be hitting towards the 70s. Whatever God is doing, I don't know, but this weather, man, it's been unique.
Yeah, well, people say there's not any global climate change. I think they need to check out this weather lately. When you have February, you're the 60s and February and 70s. And I heard it's supposed to be 70s. I heard it's going to snow at the weekend. So
Right.
when you have that going on, hey, man, there's something going on. There's something crazy. So how's everybody? How's family? How's everybody doing? Everybody's doing well, I hope.
Everybody's doing well. Today at church, we had an excellent celebration. Our young people were in charge, Roar Sunday. And the day was African attire, HBCU, or just your Heritage Day. And they came in full force. I mean, the church was full with young people today. Pastor Darnell Edie brought down the house as he always does. And it was a beautiful service today, man.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to hear, man. Yeah, we have our history, we have our heritage, Black Heritage Sunday next week. So we're looking forward for that. But that sounds exciting. I'm glad you had a great day. Brother Darnell Edie. He's a friend of the show. We watch us sometimes. I don't know if we'll be on today.
Right.
You may have to get him to be a guest one day. And share it with us, but he's a good brother. I like him, so we appreciate him and doing that for you guys. So first, let's talk some Man U.
Okay.
And for those who don't know, we're talking about Manchester United.
Football,
American football's over, but the world football's still going on.
Still going strong.
Woo!
Until May.
Yeah, until May. And then they start right back up in September. So I'm excited about Manchester United. I wish I had my scarf. My son bought me a scarf years ago. I've got to find it. I am so excited about Man U. They're looking good.
Yes. Unlike the one previous host you had on there who is a Chelsea fan, we're going to leave him alone. But, hey, what can you say?
Some people just don't know better. We'd have to pray for them.
You got to educate them.
You have to pray for them. I don't understand how you can do that. We're going to pray for it. But we're excited about them. So, but again, we're here today. We're going to have a talk on our Black History Month. We're going to have a sort of a Black History conversation. And it might get a little bit exciting. I hope to God the folks that are coming on, they will talk. How many Americans follow UK football?
Oh, no, he didn't go there with that one. No, he didn't.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Have you heard of the World Cup? Come on, man. Have you heard of the World Cup?
Millions
Everybody is tuned into the World Cup. Come on, Kenny.
This is the problem. This is the problem that yet we have with some folks. They only know their little area of space.
Right.
And they don't know the whole entire realm.
Right.
That every Sunday, especially in the Pacific Northwest, I don't know about here, but it's Pacific, you get 75,000 fans filling stadiums watching MLS soccer, and that's the lowest level of professional soccer. That's just a little bit above college. They have thousands of Americans will play the sport, and our millions of Americans watch it because, first of all, either like myself, you come from a generation that's all they knew. Not that, my father was Jamaican. So coming to this country, he knew soccer, cricket. He didn't know baseball, football, basketball, soccer and cricket. So, we watch it. And now you have so many generations of people that their parents were immigrants here, that this is the sport that they still know. It is the world sport. It is the world sport. So he says, I can't judge. I'm a nerd. I don't follow sports. Sorry. Take that question. Yes. Thank you very much. My sister asked, we are a country made up of various diverse cultures, Mr. Walsh. She put it out there. The lawyer terms. We are a country made up of various terms. Thank you. Therefore, so forth and so on. But let's get to our
I know we're real quick though. Just real quick. See, everybody thinks the Super Bowl is the big event, but the Super Bowl is the only thing that's catered to the Americas. World Cup is, notice the word world encompasses everyone. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you were kind of confused, Ken. So now we know.
The amount of money that is in footy is nowhere close. It exceeds by far any sport that America has. Football, basketball, literally. You have guys making millions of dollars that will never see the pitch.
Right.
Will never see it. And they're still making it's just crazy. I follow sports because of my dad and brother, and the Lord for them because I need them to explain the games to me. All right, Miss Young Bro, this is taking straightforward. She follows sports, but she needs explanation. But that's a good thing. We are glad that it's there. Amen. So today we're going to get into a very deep conversation, Mark.
Yes.
It's going to be very difficult, maybe at points, because people might really feel one way.
Right.
Might feel really one way. So let's kind of talk about, is America black friendly? Meaning, is America friends to the black, or we call them African Americans to be politically correct now. I don't mind black, but African American people in this country. Let's talk about this.
It's interesting because as we're talking, I just saw an article which just threw me from CNN. This is what it says. And Ken, you can help fact check this one for us. It says there is one epidemic we will never find a vaccine for: fear of black men in public.
Wait, say that again? Say that again?
It says there is one epidemic we may never find a vaccine for, and that is fear of black men in public. This is on CNN.com.
Wow. And that they're saying that people will be afraid of black men when they're in public, just because they walk around and get scared of them for no reason at all. And CNN is saying that there's no cure for that right now. It's going to be hard to find the cure. I disagree. CNN.
Right. And see, I have faced that myself as well. I haven't been on the elevator where there was a white woman. She started to clench her purse tight because I'm on the elevator with her. I'm like, you don't even know who I am, but yet you're going to clench your purse up tight because I'm a black educated man? I'm like, come on. I'm in an office building with other people. I'm shaking my head at this, man, but this is the world we live in. People are scared of us. They're scared.
Yeah, you know what? I think it is a generation that does not understand the black man. And that's the old generation. The younger generation doesn't have that same issue. You don't see 30-year-old ladies clenching their purse. You don't see 30-year-old ladies, at least not in that are growing up in suburban areas or urban areas.
Right.
You might see it from a 70-year-old lady or a 55-year-old lady or a 60-year-old lady, because they grew up with the negative stereotypes they've seen, because there has been pushed out a lot of negative stereotypes of black men through the media, through different venues. And so they really have never interacted with a African American. So their opinion of us is skewed by what they see.
Does that inflame the question that you asked? I mean, it basically does, because if you look at that, that's something they grew up with. So their mindset is not going to change. So their whole perception of Black America has not changed, because that's something they grew up with. And so it's that whole, I don't want to say that Southern thing, but basically that's where a lot of it derived from, was from the South. And so you look at it, the fear of Black people is still resonated in their minds because it was taught from their grandparent and their great-great-parent and their great-great-parent. So it's passed on generation to generation. Where will it stop? I have no idea. I mean, my kids went to a very diverse school. They went to school with Black and white, more white. Even when they went off to college, it was more white. So they didn't go to your typical HBCU. So all they knew was a diverse group of people. You heard our daughter talking about earlier about, and even within her own school, how they felt that the school was racist, and this was coming from one of our own coworkers. So I don't. It's just the perception I think people have. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the perception. So let's go to a movie. Remember the Titans. I don't know who's ever saw Remember the Titans. A very popular movie with Denzel Washington. He's as famous. He played a famous coach in the Virginia area. There's a scene in there where the young black man is going to visit. What happens in the movie, if anybody's saw it, it's a school that was desegregated, or segregated, and a black school had to come in and take with the white school, and then the football team had to be integrated. They got a black coach to coach the football team. The white coach was demoted and all that stuff, and it's a great movie, great story, true story, not a fake movie, not a fake story, but a true story. And there's a part in it where the top black player on the team became friends with the top white player. Now he's going to the top white player's home to have dinner. Right. There was a scene prior that the young man was going to go to play basketball with the young black man in his area, and the mom was all scared, said, "No, you can't do that. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah." But now when the black man comes to the house, the white gentleman introduces him to his mother, and his mother looks timid and scared and holds out her hand, is to see. He picks her up and grabs and hugs her and swings and says, "Hey, Mom." And from that point on, her perception changed. Yeah. Because when the young white man got into an accident and was in the hospital, she said, "He only wants to see you right now."
Right.
And you could see him holding her hand, and she thanking. You can almost see that she was so happy that he had him as a friend.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When we interact with these people, sometimes we also push that fear. And hear me out. We get into the elevator and we got this stern look on our face, and we get mad when that person's nervous. So we're like, "What you looking at? What?" We put, instead of smiling at them and saying, "Hey, we're all good. How you doing? You having a great day? Good to see you. Right. I'm on the 15th floor. What floor are you on? Oh, you're just visiting. Who are you visiting? Maybe I can help you." And we show them that we are the most pleasant people on the planet.
Right.
Her or his temperament may change. And it happens all the time. You see people you see the Caucasians walk into a black area and ask for directions, and suddenly the person is giving directions, and they were all nervous at first, but now they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's not too bad. Oh, wait a minute." And now the perception is different. But I have told people, if you're driving in certain areas, don't stop there.
Stop. Keep going.
Yeah, you keep going, because I'm not stopping there. So you don't stop. So perception changes. So we have to work with that. I think Ken has like a ton of questions he's just throwing at us here. Let me see which one he got here. Rupert said there may be less of it in the media, but it's still there. I'm not sure what talking about when he says, I guess he talks about swaying the perception of the black man. Yeah, it's still there, but there's also the truth that is behind some of these things. Yes, so definitely Remember the Titans. There's a truth that maybe I'm wrong, but isn't there some truth behind some of the things they say in the media about black men?
I believe that a good thing is, for an example, let's say you're walking down the street, okay? You see about 4 or 5 black guys coming towards you with pants hanging half down and hoodies. What is your first mindset? Your mindset, okay, I better cross the street, because you might think you're going to get jumped or something, because that's the perception. But again, they could be someone who could be God-fearing men, but from the outward, all we're seeing is that. We're not seeing the inward. So I think it's the whole perception of someone before you get to know them. But again, we don't get to beyond that point of getting to know them, because all we're already seeing is someone coming towards us with that fear, thinking we're going to be attacked. So I think the media, and that's one thing, Ken brought your point, the media always finds, and you probably notice yourself, when it comes to interviewing someone, they find the person, they cannot speak proper English. They find the person that looks like a straight up thug, and it's almost like, there's Black America for you. And that burns me up to no end. like the old one, like when that one said, "It's a fire, it's a fire," and I just got out of there. I'm like, and they made a meme about it because everybody knows that thing about it's a fire, it's a fire. It's like, but not everyone talks like that. But that's what they see.
Yeah. I think that's what. Now, I'm not going to go as far as you say the media finds them.
I think they do. I think they do.
I think that those are the ones who are raising their hand. Talk to me. I want to be on camera. Talk to me. Come on, man. I saw the whole thing. I feel that.
I don't know. I think they trying to find them, man.
but I definitely know what you're talking about.
Right.
And that is kind of a media push that they often show not the best of us. But they often don't show the best of the Caucasians sometimes.
True, but the majority of it is usually us.
It doesn't make news. It's not news.
Right.
It's not news. It's news when you kind of create a story. Like I think I said it last week or maybe a week before, that the media is the media. The media has an agenda. Every station has an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand that the media, we're media. We have an agenda. We talk what we talk. We do what we do from a perspective of Christian men who follow the word of God in the best possible way that we possibly can. So that's our agenda. So you're not going to hear us say certain things. You're not going to hear us push certain things. We're not going to just walk the line of what other people may walk, because that's not our agenda. But there are other companies, media outlets, they have an agenda. And most of it is to sell papers. You're not selling papers, you're not selling spots, you're not selling commercials with all the goody stuff. True. You got to show some of the ugly stuff of the United States of America. And that's what sells. Because guess what? That's what we want to see. That's why we watch boxing. That's why we watch MMA. That's why we love football. That's why we don't care as much for tennis or bowling. They're not physical. They're not showing tough, rough stuff, people bleeding. But we want to, that's what America wants. Why do you think we love reality TV? It's not even good TV.
It's not at all.
Loves it.
They love it.
Because they want to see the craziness.
Well, also they want to be a part of their, and it's funny when you hear some people talk, it's like they're like their family. They're so engrossed into their lifestyle. It's like, come on, you got your own reality you need to get checked. Try to live somebody else's.
Yeah. It's crazy to me how, and we're talking about, we're all going to get to the African Americans' plight in America. Is this country further? We will get to that, but we got to tell this stuff to kind of lead into that final conversation. It's funny because look how many shows, even if it only aired for a year or two, were reality shows, because the Caucasians are making money. So we start to have Housewives. First, they had Housewives of I think it was of New Jersey, where they were pretty much all white. All of a sudden, you have Housewives of Atlanta, hip hop, Love and Hip Hop, all these different shows, Basketball Wives, First Ladies. We had the First Ladies for church for Christian folk, and that was let's talk about horrible.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I watched one episode and I said, never again.
Never again. No.
Never again. Will I give these people my time?
No.
I know these things are scripted, but you see how horrible? They did not help. And this is the thing. So some of us are going to say, that's media. That was Black people making money. And I think it was on BET. So it was Black folk making money for Black folk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it was the most ridiculous. These ladies did not represent the kingdom. Thank God we're an organization where the two ladies, our first ladies, Mother Alberta Saunders, who rest her soul, Lady Winsome Saunders, they were nothing like those ladies.
No.
Thank God. Thank God, nothing.
Hallelujah.
I mean, oh my God, bro, man, I was shocked. But okay.
All right. So let's go back to this. So earlier today, I was sharing with you this article, which I thought just blew my mind. Out of USA Today, it states Black Americans leave USA to escape racism to build lives abroad. And it says, this is the article this person says, I'm leaving. I am just not coming back. Fed up with racism, Black Americans head overseas. You're going to head overseas to more racism, basically. So how you figure you're not going to find it when you go overseas? You're going to get it here. You're going to get it over there. So I don't get that mindset.
I don't
And
understand.
the media is putting this out here. That's what I'm trying to say. The media is putting that out there.
Because they want to make it seem as if, oh, here's Black Americans leaving the country because of the racism here. What country are you going to go to where there isn't racism? Oh, I'm going to go to Africa. Well, there's different kind of schisms in Africa. Might not be racism, sexism, classism, tribalism. There's a whole bunch of different things going on in Africa that are a lot worse, not worse, just as bad as racism. We act like this is the only country that has racism. And I was talking about this in France. The way they treat the Muslims in France, and Muslims are mostly Black, the way they treat them is horrible. Horrible.
Right.
And we talked about, I remember sharing one time that in the Ukraine, when the Ukraine war first started, a lot of Africans from Africa go to school in the Ukraine. And what happened was they were shipping out in these cities that were being bombed at the time. They were moving the citizens out of the country. Well, they made the Africans wait until all of the Ukrainians were shipped out, and then they started to move them out. And that was days. So some of the Africans started walking out of the country because they could not wait. So we're treated, the Black people are not treated well everywhere we go or anywhere we go. There's racism everywhere. England had racism in the 80s and 90s, and even now, the skinhead movement started in Germany and England. So I don't understand what people are thinking. We have some more stuff. Simon Rollins, let's put that one up there because he is from Europe.
Yeah,
he is a UK. Simon, thank you. Racism is just as bad in Europe. Yes, it is. We're talking about soccer, right? Aren't they kneeling now for racism awareness? They're kneeling before games.
Right.
Because so many of the Black players that went to these countries were getting thrown, were calling all sorts of names, were getting thrown bananas.
Yes.
It's crazy. So I'm glad the Black Americans are moving to other countries to get away from racism.
Well, here's another article I just pulled up. This is what I thought was interesting. It says the 10 best cities for African Americans. Get this. Jacksonville, Florida was number 1. Columbus, Ohio. Indianapolis, Charlotte, Dallas, Nashville, Houston, Raleigh-Durham, Atlanta, and then Washington, D.C. Those are the 10 best cities for African Americans.
They're all south. Wait, say them again. Let's see which one's in the north. Let's see.
Okay, so you got Jacksonville, Florida.
South.
Columbus, Ohio.
North.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
North.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
South.
Dallas, Texas.
South.
Nashville, Tennessee.
South.
Houston, Texas.
South.
Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina.
South.
Atlanta, Georgia.
South.
And my nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
South. Charlotte was on there, right?
Charlotte was 4th.
Charlotte. Okay. That's a lot of South. You that's surprising that that's a lot of South.
Yep.
Right? You would have thought that there would have been a Philly, Chicago, maybe New York, some more of the northern states or California that would be in this list, but
it was omitted. So I wonder why that is.
Because I think it's because America is Black friendly. Oh my God, did I say that? America is Black friendly. There's a lot of things popping up. I cannot read. I'm not getting a chance to read all of them, so I'm asking producers to bring some of them up slowly if they're questions, so that way we can address them. But let's get into this. We're 26 minutes in. We got another half hour. Let's talk. Let's get this question. Brothers, do you know what a passport bro is? What a passport bro.
I haven't heard of that term. have not heard
I
that
have
term.
not heard that term. I do not know what a passport
I guess
bro
I have
is.
to Google it and see what Google says.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Like, I'm like, wait, no, let's go back to the path. Don't bring that one in until we get past this passport bro thingy. What is a passport bro? If anybody knows, write in the comments.
Okay,
What?
a passport bro are men who have chosen to seek out foreign women, ooh, typically from their own countries for relationship.
Say it again. It's a what? It's a man
It
who's.
says a passport bros are men who have chosen to seek out foreign women, typically from their own countries for relationship.
Okay, so I don't know how that's addressing our are you friendly to us in America. I don't know because unless he's saying that Rupert Johnson, if I was single, I have a lovely wife, but if I was single, I would go to Jamaica to find a wife. I don't know that's what that means, but I would not leave America. I would be bringing her back to America. I'm bringing her back. I might go there, but she's coming back. I'm not living in Jamaica. She's coming back with me here in New America. But yeah, so if they are there's probably a ton of men who are not finding love here in this country, and it is easier to find love outside of the country in other countries. But that's neither here or there, I think. Let's go to Simon Ron's question. England black players last year racially abused. That's the comment. Yes, we talked about that. And then I don't know Debbie's. No, that's okay. So let's get to this article about, or at least a friendly America to black. So we noticed that there's a bunch of cities that are predominantly in the South,
Right.
that are strong. That this article is saying is some of the best cities for African Americans or blacks to get jobs in, grow a family in, raise or find. I mean, what is it that they're saying is it's the best for?
Well, what they're saying is that most are living a good life, including high-paying jobs, affordable homes, a vibrant lifestyle, and the communities are great. Based off of this, that's the reason why those cities were chosen.
So what is the criteria, Mark? What is the criteria if we're going to look at let's pick 5 things that we say you need these 5 things to be friendly to any race. You need these 5 things to be met. Okay, I'll drop the first and then you drop one and we'll keep going from there. Okay. The first thing I think is you have to have opportunity. There has to be the basis for opportunity. Right? We agree with that one. Okay. Right. You have one?
Schools, education.
So the access to schooling. Right. I agree. Access to schooling or education is important. I think that we have to be able to borrow and we'll be able to borrow reasonably and freely. There has to be a system where you can borrow, because if you're in a country where you cannot borrow, you're not going to be able to make it, especially if you're in a race that can't do it. I've seen many countries that it doesn't happen. So I would say be able to borrow or some sort of way of receiving help in trying to establish something, employment or self-entrepreneurship and things like that.
And I would definitely say fair housing opportunity.
Fair housing. Okay, fair housing opportunity. I agree with that. Fair housing. And the 5th one, I would say feel safe. Feel safe.
Yes.
I think that in any country, to be friendly, we should be able to feel safe in that country. Okay, so we've got our 5 points. Let's see if we can talk about if we reach a consensus. And folks that are listening, please join in with your comments or questions about blacks in this country. So 1, we talk about opportunity. Do we feel there is opportunity for African Americans, blacks? Let's just use blacks because there's some people that aren't. There's some people that are not American. They're African. Some are Caribbean. Some are from other places. But let's just say blacks. So let's say, is there an opportunity for blacks in this country? What do you think? Is there opportunity?
I think there is. I think that, but it depends on where you are. And again, I've often said this: networking is key, because a lot of times it's not about what you know, it's who you know. Because if you know somebody's already in that arena that you're trying to get into, a lot of times they can help you get through a lot of the jargon just to get in there. But again, that's always the challenge. That networking is so important. That's why I often say you never burn the bridges as you cross them, because you never know, you may need someone from your past. So the opportunities are there.
And Mark, this is my thing. What about this one? There are cultures that have this down.
Yes.
Networking.
Yes.
Jews,
Asians.
Indians, Asians, they've got networking down.
Mm-hmm.
Even whites, networking strong. If I'm a white man and I need a job, I can go to my white brother and he will get me that job.
Yep.
With the black community, it is a toss-up.
It's a toss-up, man. And
That's
sad. That's so sad.
It is. And I know people may disagree. If you disagree with me, you can say it in the chat. We'll take it. But if you agree, please also say it. Mm-hmm. It is a toss-up. Some folks will help you. Some folks won't. You'll go to this guy. Hey man, I need a job. Or you have, or you know what? I know I'm working a good job now, but I would like to get a better job, better experience. You work for a great company. Can you help me? Man, that guy may, or that lady may or may not say yes. You do not know.
Correct.
Because for whatever reason, they have some stereotypical view of you or whatever it is, or they think you're trying to get in my company, take my job, or whatever it might be. Man, we hold each other down, not in a good way. I'm talking about we hold each other down by pushing each other down. We are like crabs in a barrel sometimes.
Right.
But that's not America. That's us. So if I look at the opportunity, now there are some places where the door is shut. I'm not going to act like every place in America, the door swings open for us. We see bright lights. Mm-hmm. Nah, I don't think that.
Well,
but I
to your
feel
point,
that.
Do you think that by someone's name on an application can stop it before it gets to the next level?
Some places, yeah. Yeah, I do. I think tattoos do also.
Wow.
I think hairstyles can stop somebody from getting a job. Is it right? No. But I think it can.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be. But So I've been mentored by Black and white Americans, but I'm not good at networking. That's Deborah saying she's not good at networking. Well, I think she is. She's done a good job. No, it is America. I don't think it is like that in Africa. You don't think it's like what in African countries? Man, you need to travel, bruh. You need to get out of this country. I don't know what he thinks African countries are like. I'm in Africa. I have a company that is out of Liberia. I traveled to Kenya. I've talked to people in Tanzania and Uganda. I'm not even going to get to South Africa or the northern African countries. This is West and East Africa. It is horrible what Black people do to each other in Africa. It's a lot worse.
Wow.
If you are not of a certain class, if you don't have certain educational backgrounds, you are not getting a job. You're not getting work. It is really bad. For instance, if you don't go to certain schools in some of these African countries, when you graduate, your prospects for next level is very low.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's strange. But if you go to a certain school, just the school you go to can give you help. Just the school you go to. It's like, like we have Harvard and Yale, we have the Ivy Leagues. It's like that. So it's not like you get out of those schools and if you go to if you go to JUCO schools here, right. Even in a JUCO school, they'll give you a chance if you get good grades. Over there, nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. Wow. You might as well not go to school in some cases. And class is still an issue. They still do dowries. So even if you want to get married, they still do dowries in some of these African countries. So even if you want to get married, you better have certain things, or you're not getting that dude's wife. I mean, that dude's child to be your wife. It's still happening there. So I'm not. Some people you have to travel a little bit. Just don't think. Talk, and if you don't believe me, talk to Africans. They will tell you. Talk to them and see what they say. Let's get back. So to the thought was, and I kind of lost thought because that question came out of
opportunities. Opportunities.
So opportunities, right? So is I don't think the door's quick open, but yeah. But I think that we have opportunities because you can have no skill when it comes to education, but be skilled with your hands, that you can be a carpenter. You can go in and start your own furniture making shop. And depending upon what you consider as success, you can still be successful in this country without education because of your skills.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that, and I've seen it both from a black and white perspective. Now, you may have a stronger struggle as a black man to achieve those things. But trust me, you have a stronger struggle as a white man to make a football team or make a professional basketball team where they're making millions. So you have opportunities. Rappers are the world of hip hop, and the culture of hip hop is not where I land, but that's a great place where you see people make tons of money. Now, some of these guys, they act like the hood, but they're well educated, so they're faking you out. Educated, but you do have many that are hood, that come out of the hood, come out of poor areas, and make it a successful living for themselves because they have musical talent or they have athletic talent. And that's when this country can provide you, and provides it very well. Now, I don't want anybody to put up a record companies, do all these things, because black record companies did it too. Motown did it. Cash Money Records recently has found that they do it. Black people will screw over black people too. So
absolutely.
Right.
You know what I was saying earlier about fair housing, because it's interesting how you can have a black family trying to get a house. You got a white family a non-black family trying to get a house. The black family credit score will be the same as the other person's credit score, but yet they'll still have to pay higher interest versus the other. Why do you think that is? Which that to me is so wrong. That's what I say about fair housing, because here it is, you both got the same credit score, but yet your interest rate is going to be higher than the other because of the color of your skin.
Yeah, I think that's not the norm that happens. The norm is, if your credit score is this, you're going to get this interest rate, and they're advertised, right? So you're advertised. So that's not the norm, but it happens. It happened frequently more in the past. In the 50s and 60s, it happened a lot more than happens today, because one, we're more educated. We look up stuff and we're like, no, we're not taking that. We complain. But it comes down to the fact that the people that are sitting behind that desk want to mess you up.
That's why
because we have people who are also sitting behind the desk who will look at your credit score and they shouldn't approve you and will still stamp approval because they want to help you.
Right.
Unfortunately, we hear more of the prior than we hear of the latter. Right. We hear more people trying to mess you up because they individually take this personal. They don't like you, whatever it is. They don't like our skin color, whatever that may be. We hear more of that than we hear of the person who says, I'm going to help you. We don't hear that as much because that's not news. That's not what we hear. But that happens as much. It happens on both sides. I am more concerned, and I'll get your thought on this. I am more concerned about fair housing when it's where I'm living. I want to buy this house here, but I can't because the town won't let me buy the house there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That is more disheartening to me, because we still have that in this country, but it's not most of the country.
No.
It's parts, and folks know where those parts are, unfortunately. And it takes a very strong black family to move there.
Well, that's what I was about to ask the question. Even though that house is nice, why would you want to move into that area where you know you're not accepted, where you know you're not going to be welcome? It's kind of like that movie, was it? It was Samuel Jackson. We had a movie. I forgot the name of it was called Neighbors. Something like he didn't like his neighbors. How he tortured them. Why would you want to move into an environment like that where you're putting your family at risk? My thing is this: go where you going to really appreciate the property you're purchasing and not worrying about your Karen living next door.
Yeah, I think it,
That's
I
just
think
me.
yeah, well, I'm with you, but I think
Right.
that people do it because they want to change the
Mhm.
area, right? They want
Okay.
to change that mindset, and it takes somebody to actually have to step into that area to do it. To me, I'm with you, man. I'm not big on going there at all.
Mhm. Right.
Um, I rather not. But I understand that some people say, you know what, if I don't move, that it will always be that way. I need to move there to change that area. We have a place in Jersey called Westfield, and I don't know if anybody from Westfield ever watches this, but yeah, that area was one of the things. But now there's black people who live there
Mhm.
because there was a family that went through a heck of a lot.
Right.
If you read the
Right.
papers, they went through a heck of a lot. People were throwing stones at their house, blah, blah, blah,
See.
threats. They stayed there, and more black folks moved there now. It still probably has the same issue, but it's not as prevalent anymore.
Mhm.
Could you pull up, before you bring that one in, could you pull up Holly Brodus's comment, please? She said, yes, I had a conversation with a student 2 weeks about her desire to get a new tattoo. We had a discussion about tattoos and the workforce. For some occupation, it does matter. Yes, I agree. Yeah, it does. And because this is the question we're talking about with names.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think names, tattoos, those things matter in this country. And that's not that's not a white thing, right? It's not a white thing.
Right.
Names matter even in the black community. Um, getting a job and me being able to pronounce your name is important. I'm your boss. I
Important.
want to be
Very
able to
important.
pronounce your name.
Right.
And and if you have one of these very difficult names, and I'm not good with names, and I end up calling you yo dude, or yo sis, or hey G, it becomes bad. Now,
Right.
I'm not saying that we have to name our kid. You can name your child anything you want to, please. That by all
Mhm.
means.
Mhm.
But understand that in this country, there are places that they will not be hired. Because their resume won't even be looked at. It'll be looked at, they'll look at their name, and they'll put it right to the side because
Right.
of their name. Is it right? No, I don't believe it's right. But that is the reality. Will that change someday? Yes, I believe that will change someday. But
Mhm.
right now, as more African Americans, as more people with those names decide, you know what, if you don't want to hire me, I'm going to get my own business. I'm going to start my own job. As they become more prevalent, that will change because sooner or later, people are going to look at the very best. And there are companies that look at, they don't care what the name, they care about the resume. I want to hire the very best. And but with tattoos, even I think it was 50 Cent who was in acting, removed many of his tattoos because he wanted to be taken more serious as an actor. So he removed it because he didn't want those parts. He didn't want to be, what is it called, boxed into a role
Right.
because of his tattoos.
Right. Right.
And that was his choice.
Mhm.
So yes. Okay, Ken, bring the next one. Bring your thought in, I please. I think y'all just proved that it's not black friendly. No, that's totally not correct. That's, we, we we are saying that there are places, there are small areas. And let me give this example. If I go in an area with 100 people and 10 people are racist, you can't deem that area a racist area
Right.
because 10 people are
Because of
racist.
some people. Correct.
It means the area has a undertone of racism, but the majority of the people are not. The majority of the people don't mind you, love you, appreciate you, are friendly to you, talk to you, are good neighbors. But
Mhm.
there is 10 people, you know where they live, that don't want to deal with you because of your skin color.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's
Exactly.
unfriendly. That's what America to me is.
Mhm.
Out of 330 million people, there are millions of people that are probably racist. But does not mean this country is a racist country. It just means that we have a racist undertone.
A racist
All right.
undertone. Exactly.
Although a small place in every city, in every state, it does not, it not, it it all does not seem friendly to me. Well, of course, there's people that will not think that this country is friendly. I believe that. I think that, like the people that are leaving because of racism, that sometimes you get fed up with the system.
It's just yes.
Somebody growing up in the suburbs of a multi-diverse neighborhood is not going to have the same experience as somebody growing up in a urban city who has not met, or a white city who has not met black people, or an urban black area that has not met white people. Their minds are going to be different.
Right. Right.
They're going to be different. And what you consider friendly is going to be based on your experience with the other cultures. My experience with the other cultures is I've saw racist people, but my overall experience has been excellent. I've eaten at dinner tables. I've got hugs from. Matter of fact, let me tell you, I had a friend. This is a funny story. I wish he was on. I wish Eric Sobel was on. Eric Sobel was a good friend of mine. When we were in high school, he was going out with a girl. And the girl was, of course, was an Italian girl. Nice Italian girl. So he's going out. He's Jewish. She's Italian. So we go to. So everyone
Jewish Italian.
Me. Yeah. Okay. He would take me to the house.
Okay.
And her parents were there. Now I come in. I'm a black guy coming into this house. Italians walk in. The mother wants to take the garbage. Is taking the garbage. I said, "Oh, you know what? I got the garbage. I'll take it out for you." I took it out for her. Put in the garbage can. Came back in. Looked at me. She just gave me a big hug. Oh, thank you so much. The next time I come over, my buddy Eric says to her, "Hey, Mom." She says, "Don't call me Mom." And I started laughing. I said, "Hey, Miss," and I called her by her last name. She goes, "Oh, no, you can call me Mom." I'm like, what? The boyfriend can't, but I can. Oh, because she liked me.
Wow.
She didn't look at my color. She liked me. It was experience that I had. Other black folk may not have that experience. You know, the other black folk may not have that experience. It wasn't a friend that made that experience. It was the way that the other family treated me over him. They didn't look at my color because he was white, I was black, but I could get away with stuff that he could not. It's because some places are just different. Now, I may talk to 10 other black people, black men, say I never had the experience. It was always bad when I walked in that house.
Right, right.
They may say that. That doesn't mean everybody's experience is that way. Now, where do you work, Mark? Do you work in a majority of black company or a white company?
It's a international company. So I got everybody in there.
Everybody. How do you feel treated when you're in there? Now, don't go by raises or
I feel treated. I feel like I'm treated well. Because everyone in there is pretty much treated with respect. Again, with it being an international company, you can't help but treat everybody with respect. Now, on the other side, what you're saying about raising, that's another story by itself. But as far as the culture goes, you do have some people who walk by you and may not speak, but you got those who more go out their way to speak to you. So a lot of times, I guess it depends on when you pass that person in the hallway, because you can pass them again later on that day and they have a different continence. So I guess they haven't had their coffee yet. So, it could be a different thing. But you said something earlier, and back to the media real quick. The media has tried to bridge that gap between the races, because there's one commercial that always sticks to me, and I love this commercial. They probably show in your area as well, where this little kid is going to the playground and she sees her black schoolmate in the playground, and the little girl wants to go over and play. The mother goes, no, why don't you want to play with those kids over there? She goes, well, because she's in my class. But don't you want to play with those kids over there? And she looks at her mom and goes, but why, mommy? Why? And the mother just stops, because she can't explain to her daughter why she does not want her to play with her black school friends when you have some white kids over there. That commercial always resonates with me, because the mother's facial expression just goes blank, because she couldn't explain herself as to why she didn't want her child to play with a child she goes to school with, just to happen to be in a playground after school. That gets me. And the other one is where the person is applying for the job. They leave the interview and the guy throws the resume in the trash can, but his partner picks the resume back up and puts it on the desk and irons out the wrinkles and goes, why did you do that? He goes, well, we fulfilled our quota. He goes, no, that's not good enough. this person is worth the job. And the commercial kind of ends like that, kind of squash that whole thing about people not being qualified. Those two commercials, when they play those, resonate with me. I appreciate those two.
And that's media, right? That's media, and it could be, of course, a black company pushing that, or a diverse company pushing that. But
Mhm.
it's media, and it's showing something.
Right.
I appreciated movies where the black actor, the lead actor, is not a cokehead or something. They're an intelligent
Yes.
black man or black
Yes.
woman. I loved
Yes.
Hidden Figures. I
Yes.
love the movie Hidden Figures. I knew nothing about that movie, knew nothing about these three ladies
Mhm.
until that movie came out a couple years ago. And if you have not seen the movie Hidden Figures,
Yeah.
go see it. It's about three women who helped actually the initial NASA project.
Yes.
So you got to
Yes.
go see it. But it was a great movie because Kevin Costner's person,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
He was like, we're not doing this.
Mhm.
Breaking down the sign, black only, breaking out the bathroom, going crazy. We're
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
doing this.
Right. Right.
In his mind, it's not happening. When they wouldn't let her into the room, I need her in the room.
Yeah.
She's the one who gives us the numbers. Get her
Right.
in here.
Right.
All of those things that, and the thing is this, we will always have we'll always have that negative person to point to, but
Mhm.
we have to point to the Kevin Costners in that movie. I
Right.
don't know the guy. I don't forget the guy he played. He was the head. He was the director of NASA. Don't know his name, but
Right.
whoever he played, that guy is somebody we should say there are people like that
Mhm.
that don't care about your color. They care about getting the job done.
Right.
And this is
Right.
the best person. Matter of fact, and let's talk about I forget, was it Neil Armstrong? Was it him? I forget who it was.
Yes.
He wouldn't go
Mhm.
up until she gave the numbers. He didn't want the computers.
Exactly. He said, I'm not
All of
going anywhere.
yeah, I'm not launching until I
All right.
get
Spoiler
verification.
alert for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, spoiler. Yeah, I'm telling everybody on the old movie, but you gotta watch it because there are people like, and he was from Texas. There are people like that
Mhm. Right.
that are out there. You may not have dealt with them, but there are
Mhm.
people like that.
Right.
You know.
And you want to give a shout out to the merchandise and our producers before we run out
Yeah,
of
real
time?
quick. Yes. So real quickly, let's give a shout out to our producers. We are so grateful to our producers, Ken Walsh, Albert Minich, Sean Gore, Peter Boynton. We are so grateful for them. They are awesome. They do a great job. We appreciate them for what they do and how they're helping us through this programming. We also want to let you know that if you are able to, we'd love for you to purchase some of our merchandise. Excuse me. We have different pieces of merchandise. Here they are. You can Zelle to Bad Men for Christ at that number 908-821-6504. We have hats and we have mugs and we have shirts and we have all sorts of different little things. We'll have pens soon, hopefully, that we can actually overnight to you, or at least get them out to you as quickly as possible. They're reasonable prices. It would be supporting our work. We hope that you can do it. We're also going to ask that you also share,
Yes.
subscribe,
Yes.
like this show. And when we air it and you're watching through Facebook, if you're watching through Facebook, share it with all of your friends. Let them know about it. We want to definitely have this, go viral out there and be able to touch many hearts and many souls. So if you like what we're doing, please share it with others. Your daughter saw Hidden. She just saw Hidden Figures. What is she? 16? What is your? She just saw Hidden Figures. This is a young lady's a teacher working. She just done saw this movie years ago. She probably Simon Rollins, Ken, do you wow.
To be continued on that question.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon, for helping us out with that one. Thank you. So we are grateful. We have about 4 minutes, so we're just going to end up and we're just going to say thank you so much to everybody for listening to the show. Please share it. You can forward and share it. That'd be great. We appreciate it. Ken thought I did, but now I have to check. Yeah, definitely,
Ooh,
bro.
got me thinking.
But Mark, I'll let you have. I'm going to give it over to you so you can give your last words, and I'll close this out.
Again, perception is key. I believe we do live in a friendly country. You can't allow one person's attitude, environment be the whole total gamut everybody you come in contact with. Not everybody's evil. Not everybody's mean. There are some really nice people out there.
Amen. And I agree. I think that we live in a friendly country. But I think that we're not as great as we can be. We're not the friend. We can be more friendly, and we can have some places that we can have better accommodations and better ways of living for everyone. But I think that comes down to conversation. Like you said, there's a line of respect for good people, or for people. And if you don't have the respect for people, things are always going to look ugly. But I definitely look forward to having further conversations. And I hope one day this show goes viral to a bunch of white and black people, and they show their comments and thoughts, because it does take conversation. It definitely does. Yeah. So again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your thoughts. Join us every Sunday night at 7:15. We are going to be going on our actual show. These are our pre-shows. We're going to actually get our show going sometime in the month of April, I believe it is. We have our we're going to be doing one kind of media tour of one place. We're doing a media tour of one show. That's what I'm calling my tour. We're doing a media tour of one show very shortly, and once we do that, we'll go live. We'll have shows where we will have some guests on. Of course, we've got to get our good friend Hendrik Hunt, who we get every year, just to he's a prophet. We kind of get him in here just to give us a good blessing for the year to come. He's always saying good stuff. Of course, we got to get our Bishop Monroe Saunders in here. Our presider. We love that dude, so we got to get. I called him a dude. I'm gonna get in trouble. We love that bishop.
I won't tell him.
We love our bishop, so we can't.
Bishop, he called you dude.
We can't wait to get him in here. Then we have some other guests, some people doing some great things in the community, and some folks that are doing great things for this country. So we look forward to having those folks on. We look forward to continue to have you on. Mark, man, again, love you, bro. Awesome show. You can send this out, man.
Last comment, Ken. Soccer, main sport, not the NFL. Man United all the way. That's all I got to say. Have a good night, everybody.
We're out. God bless everyone. Take care. Where's our outro? Oh, here it is.